had to take a breath, cause Nicki been fucking with me hardcore. God damn, that's my fucking jam. They know who I am, bitch, bounce. Homie, smoke an ounce, fuck it, make it count. When my album date announce, I pronounce I'm a killer. Bumping everything from Project Pack to Killer. I know, I got it, I want it, I need it. We live in an era where they get deleted. I'm wondering if I'ma make it, man, fuck it, I take it. I wreck it, I break it. These bitches, they love it, but I never covet. I just keep it going, that's why I be flowing. I'm already knowing it's like that I'm living. Don't know what I'm giving, it's so hard not to give in. Like a crip, but I never bang, no, they know. We been at it way before the fame, ho. Way before the fame, ho. At it way before the fame.
Thank you guys for tuning back in with us, and we're back with Week 4 NFL free picks. Brought to you by Overtime Live Sports Bet Radio and TeamSpadesPoker.com. So last week was terrible. We missed 9 out of the 15 games. We produced great performances on week 1 with the three games missed, but that 9 out of 15 is just unacceptable. So, but we learned a lot. It wasn't a total loss. We got a lot of information about a lot of great teams, and we're going to take that information and we're going to run with it into the season. Try to help us make some better predictions on these upcoming bets. So we're going to jump into week 4 kind of fast and furious. Just going to kick it off with Jacksonville going to Cincinnati. Jacksonville is a pretty big underdog. 7.5 points is just a little bit too much. I think Cincinnati wins this. I don't think they cover the 7.5. You know, Jacksonville eventually, Trevor Lawrence is just going to stop throwing the ball. Maybe they'll find some other methods of playing offense, but obviously Jacksonville is not a very good team. I don't see them winning this, although it is possible. Cincinnati is very inconsistent, but I'm going to take that 7.5 points, and I see Jacksonville losing by maybe 6, maybe 5. Next game is going to be Washington going to Atlanta. Atlanta looked decent the last game, you know. It's good to say. They're 1-2 against 1-2. Washington's actually the favorite on the road, so it's kind of insulting to Atlanta. But Atlanta's got some Pro Bowl players that are really starting to show up in their own. I think the chemistry is what's killing them. So we're going to go ahead and take Atlanta as the better team and being at home. Minus the 1. You can take the 1 point or you can just take the money line. But we're going to take Atlanta in that game. Next game is going to be Detroit on the road, and Chicago is going to be a tough one. Detroit getting 3 points right now, but also on a 3-game losing streak. They look like one of the worst teams in the league. Chicago, as much problems as they're having, don't look like one of the worst teams in the league. So they opened this game up at -5, and it's moved. And Chicago's currently -3, still dealing with their quarterback troubles and their decisions there. And Jared Goff is just obviously not a very good quarterback. So I don't see Detroit winning too many games this year. But we're going to take Detroit in this one. We're going to take Detroit plus 3 points. Hopefully we don't need the 3, but Detroit plus 3 is who we're running with. We got Tennessee going to the New York Jets. The Jets are the worst team in the league. I don't know what they were thinking drafting this kid. Obviously he must have showed them something in the combine and maybe in tryouts that we don't see now, because all he does is throw interceptions. I mean, they can't even get in the red zone. Can't even get any field goals up on the board. So Tennessee coming in 2-1. Pretty tough AFC record Tennessee has. They're going to be giving up a touchdown, but it's moved to 7.5. I like them at 7. You know, I don't want to give the Jets any more points than we need to, but Tennessee will probably blow them out. I think Tennessee is one of the sleeper teams this year. They're stacked with talent, and once they get it together, I think they're going to be one of the dominant favorites in the AFC. So we're going to take Tennessee and give up to 10 points. I mean, it's at 7.5 right now. I'll give them 10. The next game is going to be Cleveland going to Minnesota. This is going to be a big game, you know, for both teams. Minnesota obviously is better than their record shows. They're sitting at 1-2, with that 1 being a home game win. But they're coming into this game as underdogs at home. You know, Cleveland. People thought Cleveland was going to be better than they looked, even though they do have the 2-1 record based on schedule preferencing. You know, they're coming into this game as a favorite. I'm going to go ahead and take Minnesota plus the 2 points. I think Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins was enough without Dalvin Cook last week. They put up plenty of points. I think that offense has a lot to give, and I think Cleveland doesn't look as good as people thought they would. Without OBJ or anything that they thought they would have, I still think Cleveland's lacking in the areas that they have lacked in before. But we'll see. We're going to go with Minnesota plus the 2 points. The next game on the schedule is Indianapolis Colts going to Miami. Miami is without their starting quarterback. And Indianapolis Colts is stuck with Carson Wentz. So you're pretty much betting on the matchup. I'm going to take Indianapolis Colts because I think Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett, but it's a tough call, man, because that's just being that the Colts look better so far this season. I mean, both teams have been plagued with injuries. They're both on losing streaks. Indianapolis is actually 0-3. So I expect Indianapolis to get this game. I think the matchups benefit Indianapolis. And Wentz couldn't throw a touchdown last week, but they still managed to win. So I don't think that it's going to be that. I don't know. That's a tough game. Tough game. Go on the road and take one of the worser quarterbacks to see who's going to perform better. But we're going to go with Indianapolis. We think they have better matchups at the running game, better matchups on defense, special teams, and coaching. So next game is going to be the Panthers against the Cowboys. This is going to be a very tricky game for a lot of people. A lot of people are running high on the Cowboys because of how they played their last two games, even though they had to win that 2 weeks ago by a last-second field goal. Dallas giving up 6 points against this Carolina team right now. It's actually 5.5. It's going to be moving. It's going to be moving back and forth. Carolina's still undefeated at 3-0. Dallas is 2-1, but Dallas is healthy. Carolina lost Christian McCaffrey, which was a big part of their offense for the first 3 games. So we're hoping they can bounce back from that, but for now, Dallas is going to be had a clear advantage, especially at the running game. The quarterback matchup's obviously better. Sam Darnold definitely needed Christian McCaffrey to be successful. Without him, I think Carolina's going to start losing some games. So we're going to take Dallas and give up. I don't want to give up the full touchdown, so I'd like to give up 6. Give 6 points with Dallas. The next game's going to be the Giants going to New Orleans. That's a big-time home field advantage there. They're not obviously not going to where they usually would go, but the Giants are on a 3-game losing streak, man. They need to get this win. Jameis Winston looked better last week than he did the week before. He's a very inconsistent quarterback, but as long as he doesn't throw any touchdowns, keep the ball in Alvin Kamara's hands, we're going to be able to go with the Saints to win this game. But the problem is that 8-point spread is a little bit too much for Jameis. He had no touchdowns the last game. I think he throws 2 touchdowns this game unless the Giants keep it close. So I'm going to take the Giants plus the 8 points. He looked good, 13 for 21. I think maybe 8 incompletions in the last game. Obviously, Kamara had 27 plays, so you keep the ball out of Jameis's hands and he can't make any mistakes. But we're going to go with the Giants plus 8. Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to Philadelphia. Should be a very tricky game. Philly and Kansas are both 1-2. Chiefs are coming in, giving up the full 7-point touchdown. Both of them are on a 2-game losing streak. Chiefs look very, very unorthodox last game, I should say, based on what we expected to see from them. You got Mahomes turning the ball over. Obviously, their passing defense is one of the worst in the league. I think that Philadelphia can capitalize on that. I know that the Philadelphia quarterback, Jalen Hurts, is better than he showed in that Dallas Cowboys Monday night game. So I think Philly bounces back. That 7 points is a little bit too much. Even if the Chiefs do manage to get it done, I don't think they're going to be able to cover that 7. It'll probably be a last-second drive for the Chiefs because obviously their passing defense is horrible. So we're going to take Philadelphia plus the 7 in that game at home in Philly. And the next game is going to be Houston going to Buffalo. The Texans are definitely confused. They have no idea what they're supposed to be doing. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Buffalo coming on a 2-game winning streak, turning their whole season around after that first week loss. They're the Buffalo team we thought they'd be, one of the dominant AFC teams. We expect them to win games in this division, so we're gonna go ahead and take them to win the game. But that 16.5 points is just way, way too much for a pro football team, and they might cover that. They might just be that much better than Houston. Houston might just be that much out of whack. Brandon Cooks is their only offensive weapon. I see him getting a touchdown, 100 yards. But I do see Buffalo blowing them out. So we're going to take Buffalo and give up that 16.5, man. Any lower we can get those points, the better. But I see Buffalo getting them beating them by 20. Next game is going to be the biggest game of the week. The Arizona Cardinals are going to Los Angeles to play the Rams. Rams are favored right now, -5. Both teams are undefeated. Both of them are obviously a 3-game win streak. And we're going to go with the Cardinals plus that 5. I think this is going to be a very close game. The Rams offense is obviously very elite, dominant. We saw how they dominated against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm going to take Arizona as a big upset in this game. The 5 is not too much. It's not too little. It's about right. But I really give Arizona chances to get this outright. They're one of the better teams, better well-rounded teams, offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. They have a lot of advantages against this very, very young LA Rams team that's really just Matthew Stafford and slinging that ball to Cooper Kupp, you know. So if they can scheme up against them, I think Arizona can get this done. We're going to take Arizona as one of our upsets for this week over the LA Rams. Next game, Seattle-San Fran. San Fran has killed me the last 2 weeks. I mean, every time you bet for them, they lose. Every time you bet against them, they win. So they're coming into this game as favorites at home against Seattle. Seattle obviously struggling, not their normal Russell Wilson-led team. But they're on the road this week, and we think they're going to get it done coming off of a 2-game losing streak. I don't see Russell Wilson losing 3 in a row, although they are in a very tough division on the road. You know, anything's possible. And the running game, obviously led by John Elway in the front office, I think they have what it takes to make a run this year. I love this Denver team. I'm going to take them every week that I can. Every week that they're reasonable, I'm taking Denver. So definitely taking Denver over Baltimore this week. Next game's going to be Pittsburgh against Green Bay. This is going to be a big one. You know, obviously Ben Roethlisberger is old. He needs to go ahead and pass the torch. They should have drafted a quarterback instead of Najee Harris, who they're running as little as possible, and they want to throw the ball to him 14 times in a game. But Green Bay obviously coming off a 2-game streak, warming up, reigning MVP, giving up the full touchdown. The full touchdown is a little bit too much in this game, but I'm still going to run with it. I'll give up 7 points. It's at 6.5 now. I think Green Bay gets this done. They're an all-star team. And I think they're going to show up to be that all-star team throughout this season while everybody, you know, tries to hate on Aaron Rodgers. Tampa Bay going back to New England. Tom Brady going home to where it all started. You know, this will be a very interesting game. I know Tampa gets it done. Tom Brady has nothing more on his mind than going back to New England and blowing them out. So the 7 points, I'd give up 10 points. This is Tampa all the way. It's a lock, you know. On the road, going back to New England, on the road, and he's going to go up there and tear them up. So good luck, Mac Jones and Belichick. But last game of the week is a pretty tough one. It's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders going into the LA Chargers. Obviously, Chargers got that big win off of Kansas City last week because of their superior secondary and pass defense. Chargers are not to be slept on. Justin Herbert is a mediocre quarterback, but he's also a second-year quarterback. So this kid's only going to get better. They got all the weapons they need, running game, passing game, and defense. This would be the biggest test for the Raiders so far. So I think that Chargers get this done. I think Derek Carr goes in there and tries to keep slinging that ball the way he's been doing it, you know, and he's going to throw some interceptions. So Chargers get this done at home. It's -3 right now. I'll give up to 3. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, first week we missed 3 games. Last week we missed 9 games. So we got a lot of improvement to do. But good luck to you all. May all your bets be live.